So yeah, so this is just, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. It's 6 o'clock. I like when people are on time. I like to start on time. And so this is just a conversation about doing a pie day, whether you're doing it this year, next year, or you just have some, you're just curious. So has anybody ever done a pie day?
Not kind of sort of, but our lender did, but he let
Invite.
us deliver them to our clients.
Okay. Mary Ellen, have you done it?
No.
Okay. Roxanne hasn't and Carla hasn't. I know that. Okay, so let me tell you about my experience. Oh, Sherry made it. With the pie day. So when I first heard about it, I thought it was the cheesiest thing ever, and I was like, who would do that? Then I meet this woman that I know. I know her fairly well now. And I like asked her, I was like, do you have a go-to agent that you use? And she's like, yeah. And she starts smiling from ear to ear like she just got a brand new boyfriend. Like that's how excited she got. She was like, yeah. And she gives us a pie every year. And I was like, that works? She's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, kind of dismissed it. But then my team leader did a pie event last year. And when I was calling the people to ask them if they wanted a pie, the response was like it was all positive, but they almost like couldn't even believe that you were going to give them a pie. Like, and it's just a pie, you know what I'm saying? And it's apple or pumpkin. It's not some from ours were from Sam's Club, but Costco's, BJ's, whatever you got. But it wasn't anything fancy. It wasn't homemade, but they were like, thank you. Thank you for thinking about us. That is so amazing. I can't believe you're doing that. Um, but and they'd be like, well, I can't make it, but like it's amazing that you thought about us. So there's something about the pie event that's a little bit magical for the receiver that I think might get underestimated, you know? So, so we'll go through is we'll talk about, because there's many different ways you can do it. And so in full disclosure, I have never actually attended a pie day because I was in Mississippi when the team did it last year. So I called my people while I was in Virginia. That's my market. Um, I started calling them in the beginning of November. And then I just did my follow ups. And the day of, I'm like, hey, Pi Day is almost here. Like, make sure, like, this is where you need to go, just to stay very present with them. Hi, Carolyn. So, yeah, so, and I know Carolyn has done a Pi Day, so we'll hear from her hopefully. Um,
Hi.
so, hi. Um, so for our team, what our pie day looked like, and if you do this, keep it simple, right? First, I'm going to go through what we did, and we can talk about COVID modifications as well. But so we have a small little office, and we called people and we said to get their order basically, and we're like, would you like a pie? You can. All you have to do is pick it up at our office between 3 and 7 on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And it was like that was like how basic it was. I do believe that they had apple cider, the kind that you buy in the jug from Sam's Club. And the only reason I know that is because one of my guests messaged me to be like, hey, can you get the recipe for that apple cider that they had? So it's the one from the store. And maybe they had hot chocolate, but like that was it. There was no fancy decorations. I think there was like a door prize entry thing that was just trying to clean up the database. Like how many kids, what are their names, what are their birthdays, because it was all mostly our clients. I mean, people we'd already worked with or they were in our sphere. Um, and that's how we did it. It's very basic. I will tell you, if you Google like pie days or pie giveaways, you can see how other predominantly agents have done it. So I know Carolyn has done Pie Day before, and it's for a few years. So Carolyn, will you go ahead and share like what your pre-COVID Pie Day looks like, and then just because I want people to have ideas of like that Pie Day doesn't look one way.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I have actually done it for 7 years. I've done it in my house. Always, well, one year when we were renovating our house, I doubled up with another agent to do it in her house, and that worked out fine because people come in and they don't know who are your clients and who are their clients, and there's just a lot of people, and so they think they think they're all your clients. So sometimes if you don't necessarily want to have them in your house, I mean, obviously pre-COVID, and I will do it again, post-COVID, because people love coming to, they like, I mean, for me, I work by referral completely. And so to me, that's a big, a big sort of like, one big family. So, so what I do, I'm sure Michael talks about this a lot, is that, you've got your 6 touches. Every event you should have at least 6 touches. And I do a save the date, which is either, for a while I did just print it out on a single piece of paper in an envelope, with like a brightly colored envelope, like, orange, something like that. And then the stickers on the outside, so to make sure that they open it. Or postcards. Now, sometimes I'll just email to save the date. And then about 4 weeks before, 4 to 6 weeks before, I'll email the actual invitation and have the email address, and say pumpkin, apple, or pecan. You just let us know. And I created an RSVP Gmail account that went to my assistant so that she could keep track. However, if people just hit reply, it would go to me. So, invariably you'll be involved in the, in the RSVP list. And then for the people I hadn't heard from, maybe 2 weeks before, call, hope you're coming, haven't heard from you. And the people that I have heard from, really happy you're coming. And then the days before, I call everybody who's coming, or text them, or do a video text. Sometimes that's really fun. It's like, hey, Fran, really excited to see you. Just wanted to remind you, you picked pumpkin. Can't wait to give it to you in person. And don't forget, we're going to have a photographer. So if you want to have, holiday picture or something, dress accordingly. So, and then they come, and then I often write a personal note to everybody after. And then, so people come, I pick up all the pies, which I usually just get from Harris Teeter, or last year I did Harris Teeter. And you can ask them to do a sticker, to not put their sticker on it. The sticker that has all the ingredients and their logo, you can ask them to not have it. And that way you could have your own. Like I ordered some through Vistaprint that just, and then so that way I could write the name of who I was giving it to.
Oh, that's nice. On
the pie. And then the pies sit on the screen porch, and people come in, and I would have wine and cheese, like, snacks and things. I always got a big thing of cider, but really very few people drank it. So we have it left over. It lasts like a year. It doesn't go bad. It doesn't turn into vinegar. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But and then I have a photographer that's set up in a corner of the family room, and it's just like constant people having their photos taken. And that's a really great thing that I just email links to the photos at the end. And I've had, last year, I had 100 people in my house, and it's just great. And one of the things I did, I don't think it was this year, I think it was last year, I had a marketing person work with me for a while, and she asked people if they wouldn't mind do like a quick video testimonial about what it was like to work with me. So, would you be willing to just, say, answer some questions about Carolyn? I got some great footage.
That's cool.
So that is pre-COVID pie party.
If I lived in your area, I'd want to get invited.
You would be, absolutely. And it's not that far from Norfolk, once you're back.
It isn't, but it
Where
is
are
far
you?
from Texas. Huh?
Where are you located, Carolyn?
I'm in Arlington, Virginia.
Oh, I grew up in Fairfax.
Oh, you did? Where
Right.
are you now?
I knew my mother-in-law. She works at Long and Foster out of Burke. Ellie Wester.
Ellie Wester. No.
Okay.
Sorry.
She's had her license since 1969.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow. Can't imagine. So a couple things that Carolyn reminded me of is there was an agent in Mississippi. I don't know her. Someone else sent me her picture. But she did photos with Santa at her pie pickup, and it was at their office. It wasn't like in the house, and I don't know if she had 20 or 100 people, but that's just an idea. And with photographers, you have options. You can hire them, or when I have all my events sponsored by a photographer, so a lot of times I tell them, I'm like, hey, you can come, this is how many people I'm inviting. You can give me all the pictures that you take of the event. You can give them to me branded, and I will share them on social media, and I will tag you in every single one of them. I will let everybody who attends know, like, they'll get your information. So, and then of course, as we lead up to the event, I let them know that it's sponsored by this photographer as well as other people. And we'll talk about sponsorship in a minute. But that is a way, especially if you're like a new agent who doesn't have a lot of financial resources available to you at this time. That's a way that you can have some different things without breaking the bank. And then with like RSVPs, Carolyn said that she used an email address, but if you do an electronic, depending on what electronic means you use for invitations, I like to use Eventbrite. They can reply right in there. You can use like a Google form for them to reply. Obviously your email, you can have a special email. If you wanted to use something that just had like a poll where they could reply with the flavor. So you have many options in your toolkit known as the Google.
So one of the things that Michael had, was it Toral Shuffer White? Somebody.
Yeah, she does. By the way, Toral does
Facebook
400
group.
pies.
Yeah, she does a huge business. She does Facebook groups. Like she'll create a Facebook event. Everybody in there, and so I do that too. So
Okay.
an assistant or whoever you're doing to make your list, you're looking there for RSVPs, but since not everybody's in Facebook,
Right.
Maybe they're responding to your email or Eventbrite or wherever. So, and it might be, hey, you just call them and, oh yeah, sorry, and they just tell you verbally. So keeping track is challenging. And that's why it's really good to double check with people.
Yeah.
Did you say pecan?
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. So whether it's BJ's, Costco, Sam's Club, or Harris Teeter, what is generally the cost of the pie? And is it like a 9 or a 10-inch regular size pie, or is it something smaller?
Well, at Sam's Club, I know they're like oversized.
Costco too, they're huge.
And I can send you a picture because I have a picture of me, like it's like bigger than my head. But yeah, and I want to say they ran like $7
$7
last year.
And the Harris Teeter ones?
They were like about the same, but they were smaller. They were more like normal size pies.
So for those people not from like the East Coast and know Harris Teeter, it's just like going to like a Walmart like grocery store. So whether
Safeway,
it's Walmart, Kroger's, Safeway, like it's just a grocery store.
Well, and you must have had to like pre-order a certain amount of pies, right?
Oh, yeah. So so what you do is I call the store and I negotiate the price. I say I'm going to order at least 75 pies. What do you have any special bulk prices? And we used to order from this place in Vienna called Fresh Market, and they used to have bulk prices, but then they stopped. I think so many agents were doing it that it just overwhelmed them, so they stopped. But Harris Teeter, I think, did that. So that's $3.99. No, I don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking her. So Sherry says that she got
Wow.
her pies for $3.99 from a Sprouts, which I know they're in Oklahoma, but I don't know what other states
Wow.
they're in.
Wow.
But that's a great deal.
That's really cheap. Well, I got my title company paid for the pies. And then I do the wine and cheese and stuff at my house. But anyway, yeah. So you ask when's the deadline to give you, to give the order. And usually it's maybe, I don't know, a week before. But then, I usually will order like one extra of each. And then, I mean, if more people suddenly RSVP, you just can pick them up in the store when you're there. It's not like it's,
Yeah.
but you go back and they're just like, they're just carts full of pies.
Mm-hmm.
Get somebody to help you.
Yeah.
They won't necessarily all, if you have a lot, they won't necessarily all fit in one car.
Yeah, we I think our cutoff was like the Thursday or Friday before, and they picked them up on I think she placed the order on that Friday or Saturday with
Before
Sam.
Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And what day was your event?
The Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's when I've always done it. This year this year.
Yes, tell us what you're doing for COVID.
Well, thanks to my wonderful conversation with Monique.
Well, she's the reason we're having this call, you guys.
Well, I was going to do it in October because I was thinking, November's going to be icky. I decided to do it like an outside, drive-by thing. And I thought, well, the weather's going to be so much nicer and it'll be better. And then Monique said, you've done this for 7 years. Don't you think people are expecting you to do this for Thanksgiving? And so I said, yeah, okay. So at my office, I'm not doing it obviously inside my house. On my street, it's not conducive to people pulling. If people started pulling up, people would think there was a funeral or something. So my office, we have a small 2-story office that's on like pillars. On one side, it's on the ground, and so it's slightly down, and then it's on pillars, and it's an half underground parking lot. And so it's really easy for someone to drive in, turn left again, and then drive out. And so we're going to set up an assembly line thing. And I haven't figured out what that looks like. Have multiple people, somebody will check them in, and maybe we'll have food in the center on tables if people want to park, depending on the weather, if they want to park and get something to drink. Obviously this year we're not serving drive-by wine. So it'll be a cheaper event.
Yeah.
But one of the things I heard at Keller Williams just had this big event called Mega Camp, which is usually in person in Austin.
Yes.
Virtual. I don't know if anybody else here is Keller Williams, but there's a person in Washington State named Laura Gillott, and she basically as a real estate agent, owns this small town. I'm not sure what the name of which town it is, but she does a 4th of July apple pie and pies at Thanksgiving. So this year she really wondered, should she do it? Should she not do it? And normally she gives out 500. Like I said, she owns this town. This year she decided to go forward. She gave out 722 pies.
Wow.
People were starved for connection. Whatever you do, just do it. Just do it. Even if the weather's crappy. I mean, at least they're in their warm cars.
Yeah, you just like get some hand warmers, ladies and gentlemen.
And get photographers, put stuff on social media.
Yeah.
maybe even, there are people who do cute things, with hashtags, and you get those little frames that have the
Yeah.
hashtags on it. Or
Oh yeah,
whatever.
like that kind
That's
of
next
stuff.
level. That's,
Yeah. Yeah. But these are all ideas because we don't know what level everybody's at.
Yeah.
If they've done events, some haven't done, some are new agents, some are experienced agents that just haven't done the event.
So
Go ahead,
I
Harry.
wanted to, yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm thinking, usually I pre-COVID, I set up our conference room at the office and, like a little cocktail hour with water, soda and drinks. And, we talk and chat and they come up, pick their pie. I'm thinking this year, I've gotten permission. I might do a coffee truck outside and let them serve, coffee and, holiday flavor, and let them come by for coffee and pie. So instead of like, like a coffee talk kind of thing,
Yeah.
kind of situation. So,
So would they get, so where are you located? What's it like in November where you are?
I'm in Alpharetta in Georgia. So it's
Okay.
chilly, but not,
Chilly, but
not
not-
like, huh?
It's not
Yeah.
like Massachusetts cold.
No. But we do get some days that are just bitter, but that's, so I'm thinking about doing
Aaron,
like,
can we ask you
yeah.
some questions real quick about, because one thing I don't think you were on when I said this is, we just wanted, for this brainstorming, we want to see like different ideas of how pie days go. So can you just tell us like you more about yours? You have it in your conference room with like soft drinks and like what else?
I usually have, a photo booth set up, where they could, stuff where they can do a funny photo shot and just some, camaraderie, nothing really fancy, just the idea because they expect it, one year I didn't do it and, it's like, hey, what about pies this year? Yep, we're doing it. So it's just an opportunity for a touch for them to come by, say hello. And, one year I actually put photographs of, at every closing, you shake hands, and kind of have a photo. And so I put photos up of, of them the year we did it, that sold their house kind of thing.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Who's that? Arlene.
So, this year, because like COVID, we have this guy who has a coffee truck and you have to book him like in advance and it's really inexpensive. And, it's like, like coffee and cake kind of thing, coffee and pie. So.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I recently listened to an NPR like 12 minutes thing, and they were talking about COVID in the winter because we're all used to COVID in the summer. We can get outside, we can get connected. And one of the things they talked about is get used to connecting outside. Like, so if that means that you have to buy a little fire pit or an outside heater or bring in a coffee truck, like just different things to keep connecting through the winter time.
Yeah.
So that's a great idea. I like it. April asked, who do you invite? So I'll start and then other people can chime in who've done this. And Sherry's trying to get logged on. And hopefully if she can't get on audio, she'll reply in the comments. And I'll read them. But so what I did, so remember, you're always in control. When you have an RSVP, you're in control. Space is limited RSVP, right? So at that point, you can cut it off at 5, 50, 500, your go. So I just call people. My team leader didn't give me a limit. I figured I sold enough houses that I could just call everybody. And so I probably called like 100 or so people, but I think I only had like 23 that wanted pies because people are going out of town and can't make it. People live far away from the office and don't feel like fighting traffic at that time of year. People are on diets and will reject your pie. So offer it up to everybody because it's your opportunity to touch and see, if you call them, it's like, oh, what are you doing for the holidays kind of thing, and then just keep it moving. And I think what I did is I would make calls for an hour every day through my database. So Carolyn?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll definitely, second what, Monique says is definitely not everybody comes. Yeah. Part of it is people just live too far away. Although I have people that drive from, almost an hour away to come get a, $8 pie, which is,
Right. Depends on where you get the
shows you
pies from too.
it's
That's
not
true.
about the pies. It's about the gathering. It's about, the relationship.
Right.
And when
So
you do it for 7 years, it becomes a thing. It becomes a
it becomes a
tradition.
thing. Yeah. So I invite definitely all my A pluses, A's, B's, definitely all my past clients, um, vendors. Usually I have, home inspector. Of course, I've all asked them if they wanted to chip in. Most of it's pretty cheap, but and I mean it tends to be the same people, year after year, and it tends to be the same people who have absolutely never come. And
Mhm.
and if they don't come, you don't deliver a pie to them unless
Yes.
they were going to come and something came up and they live close. Sometimes they'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got hung up. Give your pie to somebody else." Um, but it's all about it's all about the touches. Yeah. So I probably invite. I mean, I do the Buffini Referral Maker Pro CRM, and so I'll send it. If I say how many invitations I sent, it's like one will go out to the husband and one to the wife, or one to the husband and one to the husband, whatever. And so, I probably send out 250, but that could be 150 families.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And I give out maybe 75 pies, so, and then some of those people bring, they have 3 kids. They bring them all because
Yeah. Because they need their picture.
they do. And they're just great. And some people, I love it when then I see on Facebook their profile picture,
Yeah.
is one, or the Christmas card, that came to me. It's like, I
Yeah.
have a picture.
Yeah. Hey, Sherry. Is that how you say your name?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys, Sherry is now on audio, and she has done Pi Day for 3 years. This will be
Yep.
her 3rd year. So if you just want to quickly tell us what you do for your Pi Day, and then also talk about who you invite.
Yes, definitely. So this will be my 3rd year. And like you guys were saying, people come to expect it now, even after just 2 years, which is kind of cool. And mine's very simple as well. The last 2 years I had it at the office. This year I'll have it at my house because of COVID. I didn't set up any decorations or anything. I just, I get the pies from a local, kind of like a health food store. It's called Sprouts. And the first year they were $2.99. Last year they were $3.99. I order them about a week in advance. I have everybody RSVP a week in advance, and then I just buy the white generic pie boxes from Amazon, and I take them out of the Sprouts box, put them into the white box, and then I have a label made up that goes on there. So they think that they're these special pies, and they're really, $4 pies. And it's kind of interesting. One year, somebody called me after Thanksgiving and said, "That's the best pie I've ever had. Where did you get it?" I was like, "Oh my God. Okay." So it's kind of cool. Everybody knows each other now. I have like an MVP group that's past clients, vendors, current clients, and just people that support my business. So I invite all of them. There's about 125 people in there. Usually about 50 show up, and I share the cost with my lender and my escrow company, and it really only costs us probably $75 each for all the pies. And we had Prosecco last year. That was it. Prosecco and pie. That was it. It's very easy. I'll do it every year. I love it. Absolutely love it. And my clients love it. And they're all getting to know each other now, which is really cool. And they're asking me like, when is the next event? Because I usually do 4 events a year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Heron, who do you invite?
I'm just like you. I mean, I'll send out to, my A clients, B's, even the C's, because, I want to keep a relationship with them. You just never know. But it is RSVP, X amount of people to fill up. So as soon as I get to 50, 60, and I haven't really hit that number. So, I'd be happy to give them a pie.
Yeah. Awesome. So, for all of you who haven't done it, so first of all, if you haven't read the book 7 Levels of Communication and are not familiar with the A, B, C, D reference, A's are people who referred you, at least one person. A pluses referred you more than one. B's are potential champions, so potential A's. That basically, if you loved on them enough that you like them, they like you, you love on them, that they would turn into A's. And keep in mind, to be an A, it's just one referral a year. And then C's are friends and family. And then D would be people that but when you get around them, there's no, I want to be I want to be around you all the time. So, and they're not bad people. So you'll often hear people refer to that as the drip or delete category. So just for those, because I know not everybody has read his book. He also has an event mastery class. I don't know if he's still offering it, but I will tell you that was of all the things I've done in my real estate, my short real estate career, that was probably the best thing I did, because it gets you in action. Because once you have an event and you put it out there, you have no choice but to follow up and call and keep momentum going. So it really keeps things flowing for me. So we talked about the who we invite, what we do, when we do it, where we get our pies from. Hey, Sherry, where are you located? What state?
San Diego, California.
Oh, okay. And you get
that's why you can
$3.
Are you going to do it outside? When you
Yeah.
Your house?
I'll probably do mine outside this year at my house. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, when we talked about, obviously you can do apple pies at the 4th of July. Who took it? And then also, just in case you come across somebody, because I've come across a couple of Jehovah's Witnesses that don't celebrate the holidays, so that wouldn't work for them. An idea for them would be a great cookie giveaway with Girl Scout cookies in the early part of the year. I know someone who's done it because her daughter was a Girl Scout, Tina from Virginia. But yeah, that's an option. I mean, it's an option for everybody, but in case you come across someone who's well, I don't do the holidays, then that's a way they can kind of get in front of their people. The idea came from agent Elizabeth Riley out of Austin. She says that she's done it for so long that her people will call her to order their Girl Scout cookies. Yeah,
That's awesome.
And not one of her kids is a Girl Scout.
That's amazing.
But to kind of play into the whole loving on your sphere kind of thing, she makes sure that the Girl Scout cookies come from a troop that's at the school that her kids go to or in their community. And then she orders 300 boxes, so they're happy. And then also there is a pie day, 3/14, Laura posted in the comments.
So another idea that somebody in my office is doing, they're doing also the, under the garage, under the office circles. They're doing pumpkins. Come and pick up a pumpkin.
Oh.
They're doing it, I think, in the middle of October, so it should be warm enough for people to get out of their cars, and there will be tables in the middle with banners and refreshments and stuff.
Yeah, so that's cool. So it can be as simple or elaborate as you want it to be. If you're newer or this is your first time, I'd say go a little simple. Let's talk about sponsorship real quick. So the way I like to do my sponsorship, I'm fairly new, so it's not like I have a lot of business. When I say fairly new, I've been in for 2.5 years. I don't have a ton of business going to one lender or one insurance person or anything like that. So I approach them with the, will you contribute this much per pie up to 100, right? So if the pies are $4 a piece, I'll be like, I'll get 4 sponsors and say, well, you contribute $1 per person up to 100. But I could easily get 2 and say $2 per person. I think Sherry said that, nope. Who said that their title company pays for the pies? Was that you, Carolyn? Yeah, so she has one company pays for them all. So there's a lot of different ways you can approach it from a funding perspective. Of course, you could just write the check yourself if you want. But yeah, so I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in with how they get their event paid for.
Well, I don't usually, besides getting the pies paid for, get sponsors, like my vendors, to contribute something for the raffle.
Okay, that too.
Whether it's a gift card or a gift basket of some kind, or a gift certificate related to their business. And I have a friend who's an artist who always contributes like a small painting.
Mm.
And that's always a popular thing for people. And so at least the giveaways are,
Okay.
are paid for. And people come a lot of times for that. They don't want to pie, want to enter the raffle.
Yeah. Cool. How about Heron or Sherry?
That's a great idea about the raffle. I didn't even think about doing that. I should probably do that this year. But with me, my lender, this is my 3rd year in business also. I have pretty much one lender that I deal with for the most part. And then my escrow company, I just asked them if they would split it in thirds with me, and they said yes. So It was pretty easy. Yeah. People want to help. So I feel like, people are afraid to ask, but they always want to help. It helps their business too.
I feel like when you bring them this type of event, like, you're doing more than just asking them to help you pay for leads.
Right.
Like if you were coming for realtor.com or Zillow or something like that, or can you pay to have this printed? Like because they're invited to the event and they get to interact with these people over and over. So you're bringing a value to them.
What's our obligation when we get the sponsors? Do you advertise them throughout the communications with them, or is there anything else you have to do for the sponsors for them contributing?
I do, like, I'll put on my invitation that, so all my invitations have been electronic so far. I haven't done anything paper-wise, but I like Carolyn save the date. So like if I did that, I might put on the back all of my sponsors, and I put their name and their their name and their company name on there with their door prizes. If there's only like a handful, like 3 of them, I'll do like a video and I'll be like, oh, these are going to be our door prizes. This came from the company A, B, and C. I just try to promote them in the way that I would want to be promoted. And so I try to, use every opportunity that I can. When I send an email, I'll sign it from all of us with our company's names next to it.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I do.
Thank
Same
you.
thing.
Yeah. And then they can even, the one more thing. So I know Carolyn, we've talked about this. She does a regular like door prize entry because she's been doing it for so long. She doesn't have to ask for like the referrals. I use a door prize entry form right now that specifically asks, and I'm happy to share it with anyone. And Carolyn just shared a link. Oh, but that's to a file. I don't know if we'll be able to access it, Carolyn. April says she wasn't able to. It's a door prize that Twirl did, and it says like, are you thinking about buying or selling? Do you need landscaping services? Do you need professional photography services? So those are all like sponsor type questions. Are you interested in a wealth consultation? So that's another way where you can bring value to your sponsors, and it basically that's a lead generation tool for them.
Love
So
it.
so yeah, and I can share that. I'll send, so some people couldn't make it because I rescheduled it and I recorded the video. So I'll send the video to everybody along with
Great.
the link to that. And then Carolyn, if you want to email me that invitation, I'll include it in the email as well. So yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
So for the people who have been doing it a lot, several years in a row, I know you mentioned you made 100 calls and you got 23 orders, Monique, but for the other people, how many pies did you actually hand out, and did you have any left over? Because people just didn't show up.
For me, each year I had about 30 pies, and then every year there'd be like 2 people that didn't show up. So if it were just a couple of people and they had a valid excuse, kind of like you were saying, then I would just deliver it to their house if they're close by. And at least I had a one-on-one, and it was a separate touch, and they really appreciated it. But I always order like 5 extra too, just in case somebody at the last minute says they're going to come.
Yeah, or invariably you will have messed up somebody's order. And
yeah, and I honestly just do apple pie.
oh, okay.
It's easy, it's cheap. I don't have to ask, do you want this or that? And then they change their mind, or because the first year I did apple or pumpkin, and then it was just a pain for me. So I just did apple, and just done with it. And nobody even said, well, where's the pumpkin pie? It's Thanksgiving, shouldn't it be pumpkin pie or whatever? Everyone appreciated it. So
They're free pie.
Exactly.
It's free. So yeah, so I did, usually it's about 60 to 75. Maybe a couple of people would like forget but like, if it's like an hour before the end and they're still there, sometimes I'll just text them real quick. Hey, don't forget your pie. But because of all the reminders that I'm doing, people that just don't generally, yeah. But sometimes if people are like at the end and I realize someone's not coming, I'll just say, hey, do you want to?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know I texted on like the day before the order had to go in. I texted to confirm. Then the day of, because people legit forget. Like, I just talked to you last night and you forgot this morning. And so I text them around like noon, 11 or noon that day, and say like, hey, only a few more hours till our pie event. Maybe I'll give directions, or we have like a very weird location. So I was like, you're going to see this sign, but we're in the white building. So you can touch them if you want to be like, hey, come get this pie. But yeah. So we have like 17 minutes left. And so I want to give other people opportunity to ask questions or even present ideas that they've seen other people do that, they just, because you can't put everything in one event. April did have a question, and she said, no one else will probably know this reference, but I do. She said, would my house be too rural since I know where she lives, that she could do it at the office? April, I think it really just depends, because I had somebody drive. So there's a tunnel in Virginia that people do not drive through. They like will not go through it because they're like, I'm not going all the way over there. But I had somebody drive 45 minutes to pick up their pie. So you might try it. The thing, and when you're advertising it for them to RSVP or calling them, you're telling them where it is, the day, and if they can so they can decide if they can make it when they RSVP. So if you do it at your house, and just so you guys know, April has a lot of acreage, beautiful land, and some baby chickens. that make it really cute. But so it would be a great place to have a COVID appropriate event. And she's in Mississippi. And so I wore nothing more than a sweatshirt in Mississippi in November. So she can definitely be outside. Is do it this year and see what the response is. Or you can ask them like, hey, would you come? Like if they say no, that they can't make it, to ask them, would you be able to make it if it was in Ocean Springs? Because that's where your office is, right? April.
It's in Goshen.
I don't even, to me, that was far. So yeah, so the thing is no matter where you have it, no matter what day and no matter what time, somebody's not going to be able to make it. So I say do what is convenient for you and your schedule so you're not stressed out. And those who can, enjoy them. And those who can't, follow up and say, sorry, we missed you. That's my advice.
I think that's good advice, because the first year I was so stressed that no one was going to show up, even though they ordered them. And I literally had people driving from 90 minutes away because I had sold them a house, you know, pretty far away. And they come to everything, every MVP event that I have, they come because they said I have fun events and it's like a date night for them.
Oh, that's cute.
So, yeah, it's cool. It's really surprising how far people will travel.
Yeah. So yeah,
cool.
So let them make that decision for themselves.
Yeah.
And April, you know what? Now that we're talking about your house, like because of where you live and like the space that you have, you could probably do all of your events there and people would get used to coming out there and would look forward to it.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So what about Mary Ellen or Laura, Carla, Rashawn, Roxanne, Donna, 757?
Just wondering. I'm just wondering who the heck I would invite. I don't really have any clients yet, so.
Same here.
Do you have
I'm
phone
wondering.
numbers? Do you have phone numbers in your phone?
Yeah, but like all my friends and family don't live around here, really. I mean, I could get
Oh, we're losing
some people to come, but they're going to be clients at any point. But that's a funny thing to say, isn't it? That's probably something I shouldn't say.
Yeah. So this is what I would say is I would say, because it's not about how many pies, right? It's not about how many people show up. It's a come and go event, right? That you could have, especially with COVID, right? You could do a drive-by pumpkin or pie pickup, right? And so nobody has to know how many people came before them or after them, you know? So just call the people that you know that are local, you know, because the probability that they're all going to want a pie is not very high, like, you know, maybe 1 in 4. Want it and be able to get there, or even your neighborhood. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I just thought of that. I could tap into my church community now that I'm thinking of it more. More.
And
Even if it's just local people that I know.
Yeah. So, and they don't have to be current clients, and they don't have to be like, oh, they might be clients one day. They could be referral sources or just supporting your business.
Right. Could be business to business person, people that you want to do business with, or you can help them do business, and you can have that conversation. How can I help you? This is how you can help me, you know, and, you know, establish those relationships.
Kind of start out as a good deed thing and then see where that develops in a way.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it'll become like your.
That would be fun.
Okay, so and it can become like almost like a signature event for you, right? Because like this year you start small, then next year you invite those people back, plus, you know, whoever you did business with, and then you could benefit from using the referral generating door prize form, right? Because all those people,
Yeah.
somebody might know somebody. So yeah. Carolyn said do a joint event with another agent.
Yeah, 'cause
Yep.
Or do a joint event with like your lender and they can, or someone else who might be trying to build their business too. And then,
people don't know who's there to see you or who's there
True.
to see the other person. And
Yeah.
if you combine forces, it just looks like, wow, you have a lot of clients,
yeah,
Thanks.
no
That's
problem.
helpful.
No problem. And you're in Massachusetts, right?
Yes.
Cold.
Where in Massachusetts are you?
Sturbridge?
Oh, nice.
So, Laura, do you have a question? You're off mute.
No, I'm good. I mean, I've got ideas and everything, so this is good information.
I
Okay.
have a technical question.
Okay.
You just mentioned doing like a joint event with another agent in your office.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a friend / accountability partner in my office. How would you propose we split that cost if one person had 70 people pick up pies and the other person only had 30 people pick up pies? Would you do it?
70-30.
Okay.
Because you're ordering the pies, right? So you can have the same, you can be like, hey, we're going to meet up here and we're going to pass out pies. You can still order your pies separately and bring them to the party. And then he or she can order their pies and bring them to the party.
That's a great idea.
So yeah. Or you just get some stranger to pay for them all, like a title company.
Could do that too.
But yeah, but that's a good event in which you can team up with people that, as Carolyn says, people don't know who's there to see who.
Yeah, because I'm picturing, okay, because I'm newer to the industry and I don't know what my return rate would be of people who say, oh, sure, I'll take a pumpkin pie. And then they never know. And then I'm stuck with, 50 pies because they never showed up. So I'm like,
yeah. Yeah, so don't be careful. We do that all the time. We're like, nobody's gonna show, or we're afraid that we're going to spend so much money and waste it or whatnot. But generally speaking, if you're doing your follow-ups, if you're doing your touches of like calls or confirmation, then you're not gonna have so many pies that you can't get rid of to somebody. Because even if you had 5 pies, right? You have 5 neighbors that you can be like, hey, courtesy of my business, thank you. And if you do like Sherry and put a sticker on it with like the logo, then that is another option, right? So then they now have it in their house at their table. So yeah, don't let the fear of some of those things like getting out of control, because they don't. In the events that I have done, they've never got out of control. Even one time I had 84 people RSVP for an ice cream event and I was like, whoa. Only like 40 of them showed up. So, and I didn't, the ice cream, like we were at the ice cream place, so I only paid for those 40.
Right. Well, that's a little less risk than if you purchased 50 pies but only gave out 20.
Right.
I think too what Monique said about what is your plan for how many touches you're going to have, and making sure that you remind them and you send them that video text and you send them the text the day of to remind them, then most people are going to show up. Most people are courteous that way. But I am an overthinker, and I overthought this for, the first few months I was in business, because I said, oh, I don't have any clients. And I just said, I'm just going to invite everybody I know and just let it go at that. And my first thing was a wine tasting event, and it was raining that morning. It never rains here. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? No one's going to show up. And we ended up having like 50 people, and people loved it. It was a blast. So it's just kind of grown since then. And now people are expecting events, and it's so much easier now because that fear is gone.
Yeah. And they RSVP the more you do, well, I say the more you do it, I don't mean do it every weekend, but as they get used to you doing things, if it's the same event every year, it becomes tradition. B, they just get used to the style and the flow. So they'll start RSVPing like ASAP once they see it.
True.
So yeah, so you could do this very simple if you really think about it. You could invite everybody that you have contact information for, even if they live out of town, right? Because they'll just say no, and they'll think it's great what you're doing.
True.
But also, Mary Ellen, as far as out of town is concerned, so I have been out of my market in the past 12 months for probably 10 of those months. And I touch everyone. I don't care where they are in the United States, because I send referrals to agents in other markets, So if they reach out to you and they're like, why are you inviting me and I live in Texas? You can be like, well, because I want you to know what I'm doing, so that if you ever have someone who's moving, you know how I take care of my people. And then, and then you can kind of explain, if friends and family don't understand the referral fee, that if they, connect you with someone who's moving, you'll connect them with an agent in your network.
Right.
And then that agent pays you the referral fee. That's what I've been doing, because most people don't know, but I've been out of my market because I'm with the military right now. And so I was forced into the position where I could potentially come back into real estate and have to start at ground zero. So you can use it to your benefit and it saves you energy, because you can just copy and paste all the emails. But so you can start really simple and just invite everyone you know. You can pick one flavor of pie. You can pick a day, you can pick a time, and you can do it in your front yard.
Just do it.
No, you don't even need decoration. With COVID, you don't need anything extra. Like maybe have like a photographer or something, so they can like take pictures of you handing. So if you do a drive-by pie pickup, get pictures of you like handing the pie through the window, or if they get out and you pick it up, and then you can like send that out, put it on social media or whatever. But it's really like that simple. If you know a lender or a title company or have the contact information, you could probably reach out with your plan and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Do you want to sponsor it? Very seldom do they say no. And as Sherry said, it's for $75. Like that's a small amount of money considering what other agents are asking for.
Right.
So
I just thought of something funny as you were talking, to have people decorate their car somehow and do the pictures. Well,
oh yeah,
I just did a family, one of those birthday parades, and that could be a fun thing to do.
Yeah. And then because it's cold up there, you could do, she said, Laura says, dress up like a turkey and have a photographer for everyone with you giving them a pie. That's a fun one, Laura. I like it. But also you can make an electronic door prize entry form too. So if you're going to be doing that outside, so that they can enter right from their phones in their cars. So yeah, does anyone else have any questions, ideas? Heron or Sherry, do you have any parting words for people who might be doing this for the first time, or anything not to do?
Also, I have something thinking about the RSVP. Talking about the electronic giveaway or whatever, that could be part of their RSVP. Like you could have them RSVP with their information, and with their RSVP, that gets them into the drawing.
Yes. If you're not doing one where you're trying to generate referrals. Right. But if you're trying to generate referrals, you would need and you can send it in advance. like once they RSVP, you could even send
Right.
it like, hey, and I did my electronic one is in Google Forms. So, Heron, Sherry, any parting words for people doing a pie event?
Just, put your plan together, don't overthink it, and, make sure you do your touches, because that's important, because people do forget, and, just make sure you touch them at least 4 times, I mean, I go back, it'll probably, if I do it the week of Thanksgiving, it puts it like the last week in October, to at least put it out there, pies for Thanksgiving. And then the second one is probably the call. It's like, oh, right, yeah, would you please put it on your calendar? And then, the next one is probably going to be, a video, and then a text. And then the fifth one for me is the like 2 or 3 days before to make sure they're going to, be there. So you got to touch them, a few times. It can't just be sending out a flyer or email or an RSVP and expect it to happen like magic.
Yeah.
And whoever comes, and it's a great time. It's it's an event, and take some pictures and put it on, social media. And so people say, oh, I missed it this year. Wow. I think my coffee truck's going to go over very well.
Yeah, I wish we had one in our market.
Yeah.
So, Sherry?
Just say, I would just, ditto everything he said, and just do it. Don't be afraid. Because I think it's like that with everything in real estate. We hold ourselves back just from the mindset part of it, and just do it once and you'll be like, oh my God, that wasn't that bad. That was awesome. I had a good time.
Yeah.
And it's definitely worth it, and it builds your business. And I love the coffee truck idea. I need to think about that a little bit more. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So did you have a coffee truck with your pie giveaway? Like for people who don't want to consume a pie? Just as, what you said, Monique, there are people who are on diets that won't even want a pie.
Yeah, and so for what he's doing is he's moving his event outside. So he's giving them like a warm beverage to make it more enjoyable.
With the pie.
Yeah, if they want it. If they don't want it, if they just want coffee, I'm sure you're okay with that, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So you guys, if you have any questions, you guys all should have my email address, or you will when I email out. Feel free to reach out to me. Heron and Sherry, can they reach out to you? If so, I will include your email.
Yes, please do.
In the message.
Yep, they can.
Awesome.
Yes, that would be awesome. Thank you.
All right. So it is 7:03. I'm going to give you guys the rest of your night back, and I hope to see you at other brainstorming sessions. I plan to do them once a month on Monday at lunchtime, but we'll see how that goes. And I'll change the topic every time. No problem. You guys have a good night. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Night.
Bye.